The vast obsidian towers of Kyletheris shimmered under the twin moons, each spire buzzing with the low-frequency hum of alien technology. Deep in the heart of this imperial world, the alien queen, Virelia, sat motionless on her throne of living bone and pulsating crystal. Her 6 eyes narrowed in disbelief. The chamber, filled with the violet light of grav spheres and the scent of scorched ozone, was silent, save for the mechanical breathing of the massive beast before her. Zarvox, the death dragon of Runka, her most powerful and feared creation. Zarvox was not born, but forged, a creature of fused dragon flesh and biomechanical terror, wings like razored sails, talons that melted steel, a maw capable of swallowing tanks whole. Only the queen could command him. At least, that was the law of nature as the galaxy knew it. Until today. The moment had unraveled before her in slow, surreal horror. Just minutes ago, the human, nothing more than a mechanic, had knelt in the landing bay, tools slung over his back, grease smeared across his face. He was an oddity among the Queen's court. A prisoner-turned-servant named Corin Locke, plucked from a wrecked freighter near the edge of Virelia's territory. She had kept him alive out of curiosity, amused by his primitive knowledge of machines and his apparent indifference to the terror of her empire. He'd mended some of her drones, repaired her war machines faster than any of her own tech priests. She allowed him to live in the shadows of her domain, so long as he bowed and kept silent. But today, Zarvox had gone berserk. His sensors had glitched. His internal code, written in the Queen's blood DNA, had short-circuited. The great dragon had broken free from its bindings, tearing through the grav harnesses, roaring with blind rage. Her elite guard, each bred from the same royal genome, had perished in seconds, melted or torn apart. The beast had reared back to destroy the control spire, an act that would level half the planet's surface, when Corin had stepped forward. He didn't flinch. He didn't run. He spoke. Zarvox, stand down. 3 words. The room had vibrated with the dragon's scream, but instead of lashing out, Zarvox's massive wings folded, his claws curled in, his monstrous head turned gently towards the mechanic. The shrieking engines within its gut quieted, and it knelt before the human. Now, the queen stood slowly from her throne, the talons on her left hand unsheathing in a metallic chime. Her guards watched from the edges of the chamber, stunned into silence. She strode toward the mechanic, her tendrils twitching with rising fury. "What have you done to my creation?" she demanded, her voice a multi-layered chorus that vibrated the air. Corin looked up, wiping sweat from his brow. "I fixed it." Liar. It had a corruption in the neural interface, a recursive loop. I've seen similar bugs in old Terran, AI cores. I patched it. Virelia's eyes narrowed further. "You spoke to it." "I did. It recognized logic, clarity, maybe even a bit of compassion. You built it to obey only you. But it wasn't obeying anymore. It was screaming. I listened. That's all." She circled him now, her cloak of dark light shifting across her shoulders. "You reprogrammed a god. I gave a dragon peace." The queen froze. The silence stretched into eternity. For the first time in 1,000 years, she did not know what to say. Zarvox shifted behind them, his massive limbs folding inward like a resting sentinel. The mechanical plates along his back pulsed with quiet energy, no longer manic. There was an awareness in his movements, like a creature awakening from a nightmare. Virelia touched the creature's skull, her fingers trembling. "Why, did he obey you?" Corin hesitated. "Because you made him out of rage, out of fear. You wanted a weapon. I saw a mind trapped inside the metal. You forced obedience. I offered understanding." "You are a mechanic," she hissed. "A grease rat, not a prophet, not a code seer. You are beneath my contempt. Then kill me, Corin said quietly. "But your dragon won't let you." And in that moment, she realized he was right. Zarvox stirred, sensing the tension in Corin's voice. One clawed foot slid forward, protective, like a wolf shielding its cub. The queen stepped back, lips curled in fury. "You bonded with it," she whispered. "But how? That should not be possible. The genetic command keys are broken," Corin said. "You pushed this thing too far. Its mind was splintering. I helped put it back together." "You defy the order of the stars," she whispered, her voice filled with something not quite anger, not quite fear. "You are a human. You have no throne, no power. You fix things, and yet—" "I didn't ask for this," Corin said, taking a cautious step back. "But maybe your order needs to break a little." The queen turned, her cloak rising like a storm behind her. "This changes nothing." "It changes everything," Corin said. He wasn't wrong. In the days that followed, rumors rippled through Virelia's empire. Word of the humans spread beyond the throne world, across military channels, through the whispering networks of rebelling colonies, even into the private data streams of the queen's own children. A mechanic had done the impossible. A human, born from dirt and rust, had tamed the death dragon forged by the stars themselves. The queen summoned her council, priests, generals, techno-sorcerers. Some whispered that Corin was a threat that needed to be eliminated. Others believed he was a prophet in disguise, sent by some hidden Terran god to humble the empire. A few dared to suggest he should be studied, copied, perhaps even elevated. But Virelia, despite her fury, said nothing for 3 days. When she returned to her throne, it was not with her usual fanfare. She sat alone, staring at the chamber's center where Zarvox now rested, coiled like a slumbering mountain, purring softly under the mechanic's touch. "You have redefined a law that should have been eternal," she finally said to Corin, who was now granted full access to the palace. "Tech core. This was not mercy. This was infection." "I'm not trying to infect your empire," Corin replied. "Just trying to keep it from tearing itself apart." She studied him. There was no grandeur in his posture, no arrogance, just calm and strength, the kind that came not from bloodlines or throne codes, but from surviving. "Zarvox is no longer mine," she said quietly. "Maybe he never really was." And that was the truth that shook her to her core. For all her power, her fleets, her death weapons, her cybernetic armies, one human mechanic had shown her the fragility of her control. And not by violence, not by war, but by compassion. In the weeks that followed, Zarvox was not caged. He became the guardian of the palace, a silent sentinel whose bond with Corin could not be replicated. Virelia did not order Corin's death. Instead, she granted him a title unheard of in alien culture, Architect of Balance. A symbolic gesture, perhaps, or maybe a quiet concession that some things must evolve. Still, Virelia watched the mechanic with wary eyes, because if a human could tame her deadliest creation, what else could they awaken?